And welcome to the second race of my 2018 season. This time I'll be participating in Hare Scramble with the Manitoba Dirt Riders as part of the Manitoba Cup. This is rounds 3 and 4 at St. Lazare in central west Manitoba, right over the border from Yorkton. Round 1 of this year was a 100-mile long desert race in Odessa, Washington. This second race is a little bit of a different format as a Hare Scramble. I believe the circuit's about 8 kilometers, I believe. A lot of vertical terrain, very technical, very rocky, and as it turned out, a little bit slippery on the second day as we had a pretty good downpour. I've raced in this series before. There's even a video from the last time I was in St. Lazare here. It seems to be a tradition that every time we come here it pours rain on us, but this time we got both races in, so we're pretty excited about that. And once again, I have my children with me. They both race this weekend. Great group of people to come and race with. Courses are always in good condition, and the people are always great. This year's Manitoba Cup takes place over 6 weekends that are all double headers. A race on Saturday, race on Sunday. This St. Lazare race is probably, from what I've seen, although I haven't seen one of the courses yet, the most technical that's available. Very bumpy. It's also my personal favorite. It's kind of maybe right, not really over my head, but right at the top of my head. Some place that even the last time I was here I learned so much. Turned out to be a pretty rough weekend, as I'll describe later in the video, as far as wear and tear on the bike. All 3 of us got home relatively injury-free, other than a bunch of bumps and bruises, but the weekend took its pretty severe toll on my bike. Both my kids were on new bikes at this race. They'd only been able to ride, I think, a total of 3 times before we came here. They took on a lot for the weekend, and they both did spectacularly well for the amount of time they had on their new bikes. My son has stepped up to a CRF 150R, which is fairly large for him, although he's starting to look pretty small on his little KX65, so it was a good step up. And my daughter had moved on to a TTR 110, which she's loving, but it's a big shift from the little KTM 50 that she had, so I was quite proud of them for the amount of perseverance and hard work they put in on the weekend. Their results are available online if you're interested in those, but my results, don't bother looking for them. They're not that impressive for the weekend, but overall we all had a pretty good time, pretty successful time, and we all finished, so that was good. Racing in Vet C, I tend to join into that crew. I'm not particularly fast. I tend to finish all the events that I'm in, but I'm not super competitive yet. To kind of middle, maybe low end of upper part of C category racers, which every year seem to climb up a little bit, so that's been good. But this weekend was undeniably the most destructive I've ever had on the bike. I've been injured before, nothing that's prevented me from finishing a race, but this weekend I have never done so much damage to a bike in such a short amount of time. All of the footage here is from the Saturday race. My camera was unavailable for the Sunday race for a reason you'll see in a couple of minutes here in the video. I didn't complete even one full lap on Saturday. I completed about 90% on Horsepower Hill, which is about 80% of the way through this. My bike finally had the last little bit of damage that it would take for the day, and I had to pull off to take care of some injuries to the bike and try to get it ready for Sunday. By the end of where I pulled up in this race, which would have been likely about 30-35 minutes into the race, I had bent handlebars, I had the bent shift lever, bent clutch, a bent radiator mount, leaking radiator, and I'd sheared the camera off the top of my helmet. That was just Saturday. A little bit of a rough go for 30 minutes worth of riding. I'm sure there was other little damages that I hadn't noticed, but that's what my quick inventory had come up with. Sunday overall wasn't quite as rough, although I ended up with a bit of a weird problem there. I run a Scott stabilizer on the bike, and probably about 15 minutes into the race, I actually sheared one of the mount bolts, so my stabilizer turned about 30 degrees, and it was almost impossible to turn the bike to the right. It would damp anywhere out from center, so I could turn left fine, but I actually had to lean into the left side of the handlebar and pull quite hard with my right hand to get it to turn to the right, which isn't ideal. As you can see in this footage, it's super tight and made riding quite difficult. And I continued like that for about 15-20 minutes, almost unable to turn right with the handlebars until finally the second bolt sheared and the stabilizer came off, and actually I had to go back for it and find it as it laid on the side of the trail. So that slowed me down quite a lot on Sunday. I've always taken a certain amount of pride in my camera has stayed on my head through all the adventure riding and the races that I've done. I've got tens of thousands of kilometers all over North America with the camera on my head, as well as probably 8 to 10 races now, and it's never come off. As you'll see in a second here, I was going up a hill and turning around in a rock garden, doing a foot stand, bringing the bike around, and this branch here grabs me and actually pulled me right off the back of the bike. I'll admit that it most certainly didn't feel well, and it didn't feel good. The bike got turned right around, kind of landed on me as I landed on my back in the rock garden, so that wasn't ideal. But we got up, we kept going, and unfortunately my camera wasn't straight. So you get a little bit of footage here of the side hilling, and well, it looks like side hilling anyway, and then as we come to the end of the video here, you'll see the very last moments of what was the mount of my camera. We were flying along at a decent clip there, and then found ourselves a nice thick branch, and the still picture here will be the very last moments of the camera. So until next time, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your season. Hopefully see you guys again.